The intro is always the most awkward part, to be honest with you, because it's like you got to do like the whole YouTuber voice talk, whatever, and then just like it's smooth sailing after that. But all right, everyone,
Yeah, it
welcome
looks like you're
back.
about to rank some movies, bro. Like you're about to rank some like top
What's up,
10
Oh,
YouTube?
so
movies.
yeah,
It's your
dude, there you
boy.
go.
Watch Mojo. Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. This is the intro. Welcome. Hi, I'm Desierto Media. I've been doing photography for 8 years here in El Paso, and I'm joined today by.
Bernie Pena.
There we go.
And Triple Three.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I'm joined today by a group of models, filmmakers, actors, fashion designers. That's what we're here to talk about today. You know, we're gonna spice it up. We're moving away from the traditional model interviews here to talk more about the creative side of El Paso here. So, Fernie, straight up, you are an actor, and one of the movies that you've done and promoted on your Instagram is called Choices. What can you tell me about that right off the bat?
Yeah, so Choices follows Dante. He's a young troubled college student who's like at the peak of his drug addiction. And once his girlfriend has gotten tired of him, she leaves and he ends up taking this fictional drug that teleports him like 40 years into the future where he's like a homeless man. So there's like that theme of what will happen to you based on your choices. Your choices have consequences basically.
I see, and like, where did the concept for that start from? You know, because at first it sounded like, whenever everyone does like an indie film, they want to do something like romantic or like, like let's touch bases with people. But yours takes a turn for like the psychedelic, the magical in the sense. So where did the blending of those two genres come together?
Yes, I remember I was in New York a couple of years ago. I just realized how big of a city it is, how many opportunities that went down, and it really just took me into another level of like knowledge and existence.
Uh
And
huh.
I remember just thinking to myself, there's so many opportunities, how can one squander them? And I remember just thinking, damn, that's like a good idea. So I'm like thinking of themes of like squandering stuff, like wasting opportunities, and I wanted to make a movie out of that concept where like your choices have consequences. So I based the whole city off of like the future. New York is the future. How eventually when you see flying cars, you'll already be used to seeing flying cars in those skyscrapers. And then I remember I was helping one of my buddies with this film, and we ran into one of his old friends who was homeless,
Hmm.
and he was just telling us like about his stories, his like experiences, and it just that's when I was like a homeless person has this like reputation of being like untouched and people stay away from them,
For
and
sure,
it
kind of
hit me.
outcast.
Yeah. And they're, yeah, basically they're like outcasts. So I'm like, I combine the ideas together, and basically my friend, who was my other friend's friend, shout out to Andrew. He also gave me more ideas as well, and I implemented them into the script.
What were some of the challenges, I guess, that you dealt with when writing a script? Because is there other films that you've done before this, or is this like your first major one that came to fruition?
So with Choices, it was like the first film I wrote and directed. However, before then, I was already in film, so I would get ideas. The drug that we used was actually a reference to one of the first films I did with my friends Joel and Brian.
Uh huh.
They named the movie Dulce. It was on this movie based on this kid. He's like buying drugs and he ends up stealing the drugs. It's like a short comedy. And basically I wanted to use that drug as a shout out to the first film I was in, to my the people
Okay,
who
okay.
like brought me into the film scene and whatever. It was and then from there like it was green as well. So I took that color as the main theme, which is like why Choices is also green because the drugs were
Hmm.
green as well.
Nice. So, script writing wise, like touching that on that again, like, have you had experience with that before? Or was this just kind of you coming into this? Let me start and see what I can make out of it.
I remembered you asked me what the difficult part was of shooting that film. I'll answer that question really quick. I think it was just having a shot list ready. As filmmakers, shot lists are very crucial.
Uh
I
huh.
thought I could like just raw dog. Okay, I shouldn't use that word.
No, you totally
Maybe
can.
just
Who
do it.
cares? You can cuss all you
Yeah, just
want.
raw dog it, just
Yeah,
like
there you
remember
go.
basically. And
Uh
we
huh.
ran into a lot of issues, and we realized it's got to be more technical. We got to do more like fixing around stuff.
For
So that was
sure.
like pretty difficult. But other than that, it was pretty much just the sun. Like I always just keep like making sure it was in the right place at the
Oh,
same time
absolutely.
because the composition, the lighting. Like one shot I'll look dark, one shot I'll look brighter. It's just like
Hmm.
okay, we have to like base the shooting based on the sun and the positioning.
Oh no, yeah, I
But
feel
with the
you on
script
that 1,000%.
writing,
Like as a
yeah,
photographer,
like
like
right
the
now when
sun
we were setting
sucks,
up,
man.
the light was hitting us so bad, so we couldn't even see our faces.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It's
I
all
get you.
technical, like just the setting up and stuff.
And so
But
I was just
what's
gonna
up,
ask
man?
real quick, like for the actors that you use for your film, are these people that you already knew? Were they like your homies and you're trying to put them on, or did you put out like a casting call to just whoever was interested?
I like that because it was a combination of everything. It was casting calls, people I met, people I was already friends with. Going to film festivals really helps a lot when like just getting to know actors, seeing their performances, and actually talking to them afterwards. Like it's at first it's kind of like surreal, like you don't believe it because they're right there.
For sure.
And but then yeah, eventually like you form a connection with them in a relationship and you see how they are and how they act like on screen and you eventually start basing like your characters on them so they can play them eventually.
And
It's really cool. It's like,
on the topic of film festivals, you had a post on your page for one, I believe it's pronounced like Alacrity Film Festival.
I like the
What can you tell me about that?
yeah, so me and my buddy Alan, we hosted that event back in April at the 101 nightclub. And before that event, I actually premiered choices at this one event called the Screen and Share.
Hmm.
And we didn't show the full film because at that time it wasn't done, but I wanted to like preview it to the people that were gonna be there to watch it.
Right.
And by the time Alacrity came around, we had just finished the whole film, and I wanted everybody to watch it. And everybody that told me that watched it, they told me that they enjoyed it, and that really meant a lot seeing that the whole film was finished, let alone my first ever film. And just seeing the reactions, it was just like wow, like it made me want to make more films, and I'm gonna make more films down the line.
For sure.
Right
And
now,
that's
I'm
awesome to
busy
hear.
with Triple Three. We're gonna be hosting the House of Reckoning, the Reckoning fashion show, June
Nice, dude.
26th.
No, yeah, I'm excited for that. I got word of that, so I'm really looking forward to that. What are your guys' plan for that, both of you guys?
So the reckoning is a story. It's actually a symbolic story that
Right.
takes you through I would say every outcast life. Like I like how y'all touched on the theme of the outcast with the homeless people, right?
Hmm.
So that's really what the House of Hellfire is. It's the house for the outcast, right? So the reckoning is taking you through that preview of going from status and being stripped to losing it all and to having to forge your own identity,
For sure.
right? Because we've all been in a place where we thought we found our status in society. And once we found the flaw in the things that are around us and started questioning things, we were deemed as unworthy. You're asking too many questions. Oh, why are you acting like this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Right?
Hmm.
So then you get casted out eventually. So once you're in that state of being casted out, you go through emotions, you go through resentment, you go through anger, frustration. You start feeling you start feeling yourself.
Of course.
Some self-destruct, some overcome, right?
Hmm.
And after that, a rebirth happens. You start to form your own identity. You forge into the future. Well, some does, some might start to set into the past, but the House of Hellfire, we forge into the future. Right. So this is just to make that first statement and saying that the House of Hellfire is here and we're here to stay.
Gotcha, gotcha. I mean, that's a nice statement, honestly. I really vibes with me. I like how it is. Because, El Paso, growing up, you hear all the time, like, oh, like, it's up and coming, or like, oh, we need more creatives. And I feel like this generation, I use generation, right, as a catch all term, but there's a big push for it. And I see that you guys are really pushing for that as well. And like you, Triple Three, like with your clothing brand, like, what can you tell me about it? Like, how did you start off? What are your ideas? What goes through your mind whenever you design a piece of clothing?
So I'll say the House of Hellfire originally started out as J World exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19 in college, didn't have a way to pay for it, so I started making clothes. I was in school for fashion and music. Started making clothes, started making a little bit of money from my hometown and from people on college campus. So after that, I started, merging off that. I end up moving from Mississippi into Texas. I modeled for a little bit. Jobs come scarce out here in El Paso. The economy is
You hear that all the
downhill.
time, yeah.
So I'm a hard worker. I don't like to sit around the house and be lazy. I believe that God gave us talents to use them to get our blessings.
For sure.
So I know how to create. I know how to lead. I know how to orchestrate. I decided to use my talents and I brought back J World exclusive, but I decided to rebrand myself because this is a new chapter. I've been through different things. I'm not the same person I was when I first had J World exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to start looking deeper into myself and what really aligns with myself in this moment, right?
For sure.
Because I started looking at the ambition that I was pushing with, the ambition, the power, the fire that was coming behind it. I decided to go with that theme, right? Because fire has always been my aesthetic. Black and red was easy to go with for the colors because, as you can tell, I'm always decked out with black and red, even
Of
the chair,
course.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, what is gonna make my fire different from everybody else? So I started digging, and just so happened one night I was watching the Seven Deadly Sins, right?
Uh-huh.
So in this specific episode, Meliodas was fighting the Demon King, and he had this one move where he called Hellfire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of dope
Yeah, like that goes
because
hard. It's
let me go
tough.
look. Let me go look into what hellfire is. So found out that hellfire is the only fire that cannot be put out by mortals. It can only
Mm-hmm.
be put out by gods.
Yeah.
Right? I believe in the one true living God. So my hellfire can only be put out by God. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I took that and I forced the house because we don't just do fashion shows. We do more than just fashion shows. We have multiple rooms for multiple things. It's a whole house. So
Yeah.
the house of hellfire became it. It became so. I started reaching out to people that I knew, models. I was like, hey, I got this new brand up and coming. I want it to be our generation because we are the ones that need a spot in this world. The next generation, it's time for them to pass over the torch. Some of them are being stubborn. I'll be honest, some are being stubborn, but some are willingly passing over the torch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's time for that transition for the guards to happen. And I'm willing to make this step to open doors for my generation to get a torch so they can get a brighter future. Right? There's a lot of people out here in El Paso that wants to do modeling, that wants to be a designer, that does makeup, but they have nowhere to go. It's okay. The House of Hellfire will hire you as a makeup artist. We'll hire you as a nail tech. If you know how to do hair, come on. If you know how to do designs, I'll put you on my design team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind reaching out and getting people. I got what 12 models? It's 12 of you guys?
Yeah, 12.
It's 12 models in total. I even got a model all the way in Mexico, in New Mexico. Shout out to Tricks, all the way in New Mexico.
There you go. There you go.
I don't mind. I'm the type of person, if you're willing to work hard, I'm willing to work hard too.
For sure.
So let's build.
And touching on something that you just mentioned right now. Well, for one, I know the first time that we met, the models that you brought and that you mentioned, they were friends of yours. So I think it's really nice that you're, like how you mentioned right now, you're open to getting anyone on, whoever wants to work with you, whoever wants to branch out. One thing that I noticed that was interesting is that you said kind of like the old guard is being stubborn on patching on the torch. Can you elaborate more on that? Where did that mentality come from, or what do you notice that made you say that?
So when I say they're being stubborn on passing on the torch, it's been, and I feel like it's in every generation. Every generation has had it. I call it a setback,
Mm-hmm.
or delay. But at the same time, that delay could be God's protection and forging you to be greater, right?
Right.
So it'll be moments where, people have the opportunity to help and the ability to help. But because of who you are, probably because you don't have no status, they don't know you, you're not affiliated with somebody, they will move on to the next.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And it's stuff like that that gets us nowhere.
For sure.
Things like that gets us nowhere. Even I always say, not I just don't do I make music as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the music community here, sometimes it can be stubborn. Sometimes people can be stubborn because if you're not associated with a certain rapper or a certain group of rappers, you're not gonna get on that stage. If you're not associated with this person, you're not gonna get an opportunity, right? So
Right.
it happens everywhere. But me, I'm willing to set aside all differences. If
Mm-hmm.
you want an opportunity, if you're willing to work hard, if you're proving to me that every day if you're a model, just say you're a model, if you're coming to your practices, if you're coming to your one-on-ones, if you're coming to fittings, if you're asking questions, if you're taking the initiative to do stuff, I will take the initiative to market you. I would take the initiative to get you paid opportunities. For example, one of our models, she just got paid to do a photo shoot for one of the groups down here called Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Later on, they came to me and said they wanted to offer her a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, I don't mind doing. I'm willing to put people on, right? Because in the end run, you reap what you sow. So if I'm putting out all this positivity, in the end, it will be returned to me, whether it's in money, whether it's in blessings, whether it's in just expanding, it's going to be returned.
Yeah, so big believer in karma, essentially, right? Positive
Yes,
karma,
sir.
what you
Yes,
put
sir.
out gets brought back to you. Um, what you mentioned right now about, everything that you do, are you the one in charge of that, or do you have other people that co-run this with you?
So I am in charge, but I can't take all the credit for everything because I'm not a one man band. I have a secret council of ember. I call them my council of embers.
You really thought
Right
this
there,
out. Nice.
everybody identity is anonymous
Hmm.
to everybody. Right. I reveal, I believe, two so far to my models, but to the world it will be anonymous. The reason being is because sometimes I can't just call a clear decision. So sometimes I'll ask them to step in and be like, hey, this is the situation. What are y'all opinions on how should I go about this? I'm asking people that have been experienced with things, that are lawyers,
Hmm.
people like that have
For
status,
sure.
that know how to run things.
The connections.
Because again, I'm up and coming. It's better to go to somebody that has been dealing with things than somebody that's on the same level as you because they have the same, what's the word, ratio or same potential of making a mistake as you,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So it's better to go to somebody more experienced. And then I have a team of designers. I'll say shout out to Jaden. Jaden is my only designer on my design team right now. Me and him, we've made over 40 designs for this show. But
Hmm.
we're not gonna broadcast everything. We decided to hold a little bit because
For
we're
sure.
gonna
For
do another
sure.
one.
Don't want to play
Right?
all your
But
cards.
so it's been times I've been up here either stressed out, overwhelmed, and he's taken over and he's completed designs. There's been times where I've needed help and he's known exactly what to do. Iron sharpens iron. That's something I believe in all the time because I don't know everything. It could be something that Jaden, or for example, it could be something that Fernie knows that I don't know. I'd rather go to Fernie and ask Fernie for his opinion because he's more experienced in it. And it could be
For
something
sure.
that I know that Fernie don't know. And he could come to me and ask me because I'm more experienced in it. Iron sharpens iron. That's what I believe in this house.
Nice. And going back to Fernie real quick, aside from the whole filmmaker thing that you work on, you had a post on your page of you doing a pageant show. It looked like you had a sash on you. It said West
Mm.
Texas Therapeutic. Tell me about that. Like, what is your modeling career like?
Yeah, so I was representing the clinic in which currently work at. It's a physical therapy clinic, and I basically just treat people with disabilities, missing limbs, like just a bunch of stuff. And I like it. It's what I'm going to school for as well.
Nice, nice.
And yeah, it's just something that I wanted to like put out there as well. And with the whole pageant, it was so fun. Like just everybody had good vibes. It didn't feel like a competition. It was more like that everybody already like mostly knew each other. It was more of a celebration. Like it was just super fun. It was just not what I expected, and what I expected was just I don't know, something else, but it was really fun just seeing everybody go all out, and like especially like with the other models and seeing what they chose, because in those pageants they let you choose what you wear.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to see what they, chose for themselves as well. Because most of the time it's the stylist. They give you like they'll have you wear the clothes and then they will like let you style it a little bit.
Uh huh.
But they have a vision of you already of what you're gonna wear. But with the pageant, we got to choose our clothes, and it was just so cool. Right, it was so cool. We're just running around too, like picking up all the outfits and stuff like that, seeing what's gonna like look good and what's gonna like just I don't know. It was just super fun.
And how did it come about though? Like your involvement in it? Did someone reach out to you and were they like, "Oh, you have a look that we want and we're looking for," or was it a casting call that you applied for? How did that come to fruition?
When I first started modeling, I first was with Laura's Productions, and they told me they liked my look and they wanted me to do the Mr. El Paso pageant. And I was like super shy. I didn't want to do
For
it.
sure,
I
anyone would
told
be.
Laura like I can't, like I'm barely getting into it,
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
said, you know what, I'm gonna sign you up either way because you're gonna change your mind, I guarantee it. And after all these like runway shows and just experimenting and just trying it out. I had a lot of fun, and I told Laura I'm gonna do it, and she said I never took your name off the list.
Hey, well, there you
So
go.
from there, we just kept doing fashion shows. I built up more confidence. I had more fun with it, and from there, I was ready to go to like compete for the title. We did get a first runner up. Nino. He ended up getting first place, so he got the title. Good for him. He opened
Nice,
up
yeah.
that new club in El Paso, the EP Clubhouse. So, shout out to him. Shout out to the AP Clubhouse.
Cool, cool. So, what were your first forays into modeling like? Because, for me as a photographer, I did a photo shoot today where I got asked the same thing, like, how did I start photography? And my answer is always the same, like, got the camera with my friends, you reach out to people on Instagram. So, what were your first modeling gigs like? Were they pretty amateurish, or were you like, right out the bat, like, let me sign up for this, let me sign up for that? What was it like?
So yeah, my first ever like modeling gig, it was at the Solo Vista Mall. And then like I remember the ramp being there and just thinking, wow, like this is actually like happening. And from there, it was just more events at the what's that place called? The Convention Center, the Audi, what's it
Hmm.
called? The Audi dealership where the cars were
I've heard of those,
at, and
yeah.
yeah, and I wanted to try out different stuff. 'Cause it felt little too. I don't want to say professional, but like it was too. I don't want to. I don't know what
It's
word
a
to use
different
for that.
world than you're used to, basically, right?
Yeah, so then I wanted to like branch off and see where else. So I wanted to do underground. I wanted to do like streetwear. And I remember just thinking like this is like luxury. And I wanted to experiment more with like streetwear and stuff like that. So it was basically starting off as like on stages. It's more like I want to be more. I don't know, like mm, creative. I remember we did a runway show at the Secret Garden in the Fox Plaza.
Hmm.
It's like this back street basically with all these like murals and paintings on the wall. And we were able to walk there and wear a bunch of street clothes. It was pretty cool. And the
Nice.
designers, shout out to them. They gave us a bunch of cool designs and we walked for the people there that were there. It was pretty fun.
That's cool. I mean,
So basically, yeah, the experiences of just the gigs, the early gigs were pretty cool, but experimenting and seeing where else I can go is pretty fun too.
I think that's the right mindset to have. I mean, I agree with what you're saying in the extent that, like, for me myself, like, I've done runway before. I've been invited to, like, shows and whatnot. But for me, I always prefer the more, like, underground urban look. That's almost, at, like, graffiti spots. Or a few years ago, I was working a lot with this other fashion designer here in El Paso. And it was just shooting downtown. And it was, like, the most fun I've had on, like, any photo shoot I've ever done. So I think it's cool how, like, everyone kind of finds their niche there. But on the topic of that, I want to ask both of you. Um, well, Fernie, first off, before I ask the question, like, are you from El Paso or did you move here to El Paso?
I'm from El Paso, born and raised.
There you go. Good, good. So, in that case, like, two different perspectives. This question goes out to both of you. What makes El Paso in your mind a place that you're like, okay, this is where I see potential. This is where I want to grow my brand. This is where I want to work in comparison to other places?
Good question.
I would say
Mm,
the aesthetic, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. Potential in El Paso itself, if they would take away the AI centers and actually invest into
There
the
you go.
art here,
Yeah.
oh my
Sacred water,
gosh.
y'all.
Yeah, there
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh. Because it's not just forget what really inspires me every day in El Paso to keep going as a creative is downtown. When you go downtown, you see all of the murals, all of the paintings, the graffiti, all of that. That's literally a scream for art.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally a scream saying we need a place to create. There are no, yeah, they want this to be a corporate place, but in reality, most of the people down here are creatives.
Exactly.
If they will stop trying to force a corporate position on this place and allow this place to be a creative place, which I feel like it's always been, this place will thrive.
Mm-hmm. I hear it all the time. I agree.
I think kind of like his like the aesthetic. I would have to say like the culture and the history, like with the Star on the Mountain, like Chicos
Yes,
Tacos, Eddie
yes.
Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we have like cool history. We're at the border point, so like basically like there's no like definitive language. It's always English, Spanish. You have Mexico like
Yeah.
across the street, and you have the history of UTEP, like Don Haskins, like in the 60s. It was the 60s, right, when they won that championship
You're
for
asking the wrong guy,
UTEP.
brother. You're asking the wrong
Yeah,
guy.
like it's that
Yeah.
history. Like El Paso's always been underestimated, but like we literally like hosted a Oscar-winning like city, like
History's here.
Yeah,
kids this
exactly.
year, you
There's
know
a
what I
lot going
mean?
on.
Like, I
Yeah,
would say,
man.
oh, my fault.
No, you're good, you're good. Like I wasn't gonna say anything, but
Another
yeah.
thing, just to add on to that, like El Paso is the right place for music. It's the right place to thrive
Yeah,
creatively
you're right.
Mm-hmm.
because even though this is a desert, But in a place of the desert, it's always said symbolically, when you're in the desert, you're stripped and forced to find your identity.
Yeah.
That's why I find it so peaceful for this to be a place to create. Because in your lowest moment, the only thing you can do is create.
Mm-hmm.
You got to create, whether it's a source of finance, a way of living, you got to create because you, in order to survive, you need a way, right?
Yeah.
El Paso, like the star on the mountain. The star on the mountain, I love seeing that star on the mountain. I can look out from my patio, from my balcony patio, and look at the star on the mountain.
Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Love looking at that. I match sometimes. I used to match my lights up in my room to match the mountain, but
Very
it
nice.
kind of got boring after a while.
Sure,
But
sure,
that
sure.
star on the mountain is so symbolic to me because, boom, at nighttime, that's the only thing you see. I got a view of the whole city, and then that star on the mountain is just on the side.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's just saying, bro, I can have all of this. I just got to stay focused,
For sure. That's what it is,
bro.
honestly.
And I,
Because yeah, a lot of
And
creatives
then
just lose
like
focus. But no, go on.
no, I was just gonna say like the film scene here, like it's growing, like it's definitely is, like
yeah,
especially like with the freaking movie winning an Oscar one bad after another, like that
Mm-hmm.
just shows that like, hey, you know what I mean? Like come down here, come make
yes.
films down here.
You just saw El Paso was just in Euphoria.
That too.
Really?
That
Yeah.
too was
Only
in Euphoria,
What's crazy?
the newest
yeah.
season.
Uru was just down here.
Did not look like El Paso, but it was
What's
El
crazy?
Paso. There you go. It's something at least.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that
It
you
was on the
mentioned the
outskirts
growing film
somewhere.
scene because growing up for me, it was always the music scene that was the biggest. That was good, like house shows with my friends and such, and then the photography scene, the modeling scene. So seeing the film scene grow more and more, it's awesome. Like I feel like El Paso should welcome as many communities as they can. And for triple three, for this question is for you here. You market yourself as someone that's like very open to just accepting anyone and everyone as long as they want to work with you and you can want to grow together. But have there ever been any like hardships with that? Any bad apples? Like, has there ever been any, I guess,
Yes, sir.
problems with being too open to a community?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, being open is the easy thing because it has come with some troubles. I've had to let go of models. I've had to tell people to go on their own way in my personal life because, it's just in a line.
Mm-hmm.
But I always take those as lessons, to go on for the next one. Because yeah, I'm a very open person. I'm willing to give anybody the benefit of the doubt, but God sends a warning before destruction,
Yeah.
right? I'm a very firm believer in that. So when you go through things in life, or for example, I'm not gonna mention their names, but I had two models that were in the house and they got relieved from the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to cause a scene because they donated some things and they wanted it back. Mind you, I already said in the house that if you donate some things, those are non-returnable. It's a donation.
Yeah.
Plus, like they were literally bandanas. They were $1 each
They're
from
just
Dollar
making
Tree.
drama to make drama,
But
essentially.
yeah, drama make drama. It caused my makeup artist to have a panic attack. They tried to come to the fashion show that we were at and tried to cause a scene, but I handled it efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took it a step farther by getting a protective order and things as such, right? Because you are not allowed over here. That type of energy is not welcome in this house, especially when I'm having other people that I'm trying to grow with. You are a weed. Once I pick you, you are no longer allowed to come back. That's what we put weed killer down for it, right?
Yeah.
So all of that was a lesson to let me know, okay, when things happen or when people start acting like this, you need to be alert. I'll say I have models in the house that, they are not as alert as other models, right? I've let go of some models from this fashion show because of personal problems. I don't mind letting people go from events, right? That don't mean that they're officially removed from the house, but you won't participate in this event because life happens,
For
shit
sure.
happens.
All the
So
time.
handle that. But if that continues to happen, then I'm gonna have to remove you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't mind giving people the benefit of the doubt. I don't mind working with people, but once you show that you are unworthy or unfit to work with, I gotta remove you because then that energy will start wearing off on everybody else. And
Yeah.
we can't have that.
No, I get that completely. And again, for both of you, you guys could take turns answering this question as well. In my, I guess, experience being a photographer, like people call me a professional photographer, but to me, I'm always just like on the streets, very amateur. Like I do what I do because I enjoy doing it. Like it's not my career, it's not my job, it's just on the side, right? For you guys, what do you think it takes to be taken seriously here in El Paso? Like what hardships do you guys have had to deal with, or what steps you need to take to get to where you're like, okay, I finally made it?
For me, I would say as a designer, in order to have made it in El Paso, you need status.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look like it. It's a facade. Here,
Exactly.
if you put on the facade that, oh, I got money, I make clothes, I do this, I do that. You could be the one paying for all that stuff and be broke behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as the people don't know that, they think you got it like that. For me, I don't have to do that. God blesses me every day to do what I do, right?
For sure.
But people want to put on a facade. I don't want a facade. Here in El Paso, I see a lot of facades.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you see through that.
Yeah.
Once you see me, I want people to see, yeah, he worked for what he had.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him go from the ground up all the way to that skyscraper he is now, right? So I never try to look like something I'm not. But yeah, I'll say you need a good facade.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where it's like you need to fake it till you make it. You know, that's what I've said before. That's kind of the mentality that I used to have. When I first started out, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You know, like photography was never like a thing that I was like, yes, I want to get into this because I like it. But it ended up being one of my favorite things. You know, it's like what I'm known for. Like even today, the photo shoot that I did, it was with a model that she told me like I reached out to you because I only trust you to take these photos. I feel comfortable with you, and you know I have the 2 pages that you know they grow every day, thankfully. And that just kind of came from like the work ethic that you put in as well as the principles that you put in, I believe, as well. So it's awesome to hear you say that. Fernie, what's your take on that question?
The question was, when did you know like you like made it, or what was the question again? I'm so
Basically
sorry.
that, like, you know, like what is your like I made it moment, you know, because like everyone has a different definition of that. Everyone deals with different hardships. What was that like rise for you, and do you feel like you're there already?
I want to backtrack a little bit.
By all
So
means.
when I first started around last year, we actually today marks the 1 year anniversary that like
Wow.
we started the production of Choices.
Nice.
And I just knew from there it was gonna be not grueling, but like it was gonna be challenging. There was gonna be obstacles. People
So you
were,
get down.
had their they had
Nice.
their what's it called, their schedules, but like we worked around there. From there, I remember in July, we wrapped, and from there it was just straight back to work. You know, trying to find films to be in, network with people, be on the runway stages and stuff. And I remember it was just behind, like doing so much stuff behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, being in the scene. And it wasn't until the same week of Alacrity, it was on a Friday this past April.
Mm-hmm.
I got the honor of hosting the film festival with my buddy Alan.
Nice.
And that same weekend was also the pageant. So it was just a lot of
A
preparation,
lot going into it.
a lot of pressure, a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, it was just like, oh, how, like, you know, like thinking to myself, you're not gonna be able to do it, you're not gonna be able to do it. But it was basically, I feel like everything that happened after like filming Choices and like wrapping that film,
Mm-hmm.
it led me up to that point where I got to show my whole film in front of everybody and then compete. And I remember just thinking to myself, after this, I'm gonna take a short break,
Yeah, for sure.
go here and there. But then I remember after my pageant, I was gonna take a break, and then Triple Three reached out to me. He said, "I would want you for this show for the Reckoning," and that's when I knew like my hard work started, you know, what's it called, like getting noticed by people, and people want me to be helping them out. And pretty much from there, yeah, just that one simple like, would you be down for this show?
Yeah, you're getting
I've
the
had my eyes
recognition
on you.
finally.
Finally, yeah. And that's pretty much it. It's just, you know, we're working hard, and when you think you're not being observed, you are being observed.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You really are. And make sure you put up that front where you really put up a lot of work, because hard work, like I said, does pay off.
Really does.
And so from like
Really
start of
does.
the day to end of the day, what were those days like for you on the film set? Like what were the first things you had to do till the very end? Kind of walk us through that if you can.
Waking up, obviously
For
stressed. Will
sure.
the freaking sun be in the right place? Am
Yeah,
I gonna crash out on set? You know what I
of
mean?
course, of course.
And then afterwards, it's just like, okay, I'm glad we got it done. what we needed done. There'd be days where it would just be like, I'm glad we got it done, we got everything ready, and there'd be days where we'd all just be laughing. There'd be days where we would just be like, we had to reshoot this scene because we
Yeah.
had like difficulties. It's just a lot of like just human flaws and emotions. It's just like in through the day in general. It's just you want to be in bed and you just want to just go to sleep pretty much. With the film, like every day after film, it was just different pretty much. But never anything that made me want to just, I don't know, like I was always just proud too in a sense because we were doing something
Hmm.
and we did it.
For sure. And so, as a director, did you ever have any like hardships working with other actors, or was it pretty much smooth sailing by the grace of God?
Sometimes God will grace you with unexpected things and he'll lead you in different lanes and it was Choices was not my first film. Me and my buddy from high school, we wrote a script and it took us 6 months and what the and we had that script ready and we had our directors come in and we had a little incident on set. I won't get too much into it, but
For
it was
sure.
pretty bad. It was really bad, and we didn't get to finish our film.
Oh, no way.
And from there, Choices spawned, and we got to get it done, and it was just a good time. It just a lot of adversity. And I was really young too. I was pretty young at the time, and I thought it was gonna be like the collapse of my life and everything else along with it. But no, like you slowly build up momentum, you slowly build up yourself, and you get
Hmm.
to where you want to be.
Oh yeah, that's a good way of putting it, and touching on that film that was never finished. Is that something that you see yourself touching on in the future, like revisiting that idea, or is that more of just like it's in the past?
Definitely, yeah. I would like to pick it up now that I know the people that I know. Now that I can have people who are trustworthy, like on set, and now that I know more people, I can bring them along because it's a pretty big idea for a film. I would even ask you, like, would you be down for like some stuff to help
Fuck yeah.
out with?
Sure, man.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like
Hell yeah.
yeah, this was a pretty big film. We had a lot of ideas, and surprisingly, like at that time, I wasn't really into the film scene. Like I was just like really dipping my toes,
Hmm.
and we were like just had a lot of help. Like I said, like you post casting calls for this movie. We didn't post any casting calls. We pretty much got everyone we were friends with growing up and stuff like that.
So, what can you tell us about the idea for the original movie? Like, what was it supposed to be? Because it sounds like a
So
lot.
it was a pretty cool idea that my friend had. It was basically about this teenage skater who felt neglected from everybody at the park and the scene. And he ends up finding out that his ex-girlfriend ended up getting with her or with his old best friend, like his ex-best friend.
Yeah.
And from there he goes on
Fucked
a
up.
rampage
Okay.
of murders,
Oh
and
shit.
it doesn't
Okay.
end so well. Yeah, so it's basically
A
a
slasher
skater who
film.
becomes a serial killer.
All
Yeah,
right, I fuck with
from his
that. As a horror
perspective.
fan, I fuck with that heavy. Nice. That's cool, man. That's
We
cool.
had we had a lot of good ideas flowing around. We had the script ready to go. We just need to get the crew.
I got you. No, yeah. So, that just being hyped over the slasher thing took my mind out of like the next question that I was gonna ask. But
Yeah, that's
hopefully
what's
one
up.
day that's like something that you're able to like put into motion. It sounds cool. It's unique. I've never heard of like a skater slasher film
Uh,
before. So yeah, that's potential, man, for
Now that I
sure.
know that you're down for it, like it gives me more hope that we'll get it out of paper and actually shoot it.
No, yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that you were barely dipping your toes into the film scene. What made you want to do that? Like, what was the push that you needed to do that to try it out?
So yeah, like I said prior, like a year before that, we shot my friend's film, Joel's Dulce.
Mm-hmm.
It was for a student film, student project actually for high school. And I remember telling Joel, like, if you ever need like actors for films, I got you. Because I always wanted to try out acting. And that experience of being on Dulce, it was fun. It was just different, and I wanted to keep trying it out, and I after that film, I just didn't know how to get into it, like go deeper into the scene
What do you mean by that, though?
until like I just didn't know. I didn't get any more opportunities. Like I didn't know how to reach out to people. Like I didn't know about the casting calls and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And for a whole year, I just wasn't in anything. Like I didn't do anything. I was just like, you know what I mean?
I get you.
But
Yeah.
then it wasn't until my buddy and I started writing our like own stuff, and we realized, hey, you know what? This could get us into the scene. And we actually wrote that script about the skater becoming a serial killer. And from there, like we reached out to Joel, one of our old buddies, the buddy who directed Dulce. We
Hmm.
reached out to him, and from there, like it basically just went from there. And then the film festivals as well. So yeah, like I said, film festivals are the best way to like get yourself more into the scene, get to know more people and stuff like that.
Well, there you go. And my personal take is that I feel like El Paso is one of those cities where you kind of have to make your own opportunities. I don't know how much of a hot take that is, but it's very rare to come across someone like Triple Three that's very open to having people be involved in his thing. Like in my case, when I was first starting out, like I was the one reaching out to people. Because I was like, well, I'm
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say nobody in those early days, but it's like no one knows who I am yet, and you need to build that reputation. So again, lucky breaks happen all the time, but
consistent
you have
with
to do it
it.
yourself. But
You have to be very consistent.
no, yeah, totally. And so on the topic of kind of the same question that I asked you there, like Triple Three, like what are some other like ventures that you had in the past that might not have worked out that you've kind of left behind? And do you ever feel like you're gonna revisit those in the future, or are you too locked into what you're doing right now with your fashion?
I used to dance, and I was a dance teacher.
Oh, okay, nice. Wow. Crazy lore
Yeah.
backstory.
Right. Feel like with me doing music, honestly, I feel like it could tie back in because I would love to have some backup dancer and who better to choreograph to my music than me,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that could tie back in. I wouldn't say right now, but later down the road, just give me some time.
For sure. I feel like we're all just kind of like, I say it all the time, like the
Yeah, we
boat's
can
sailing steady. And I'm happy to see that's going that
yeah.
way for you guys as well. Two more questions before we close out here, and this one is for both of you guys as well. What are some like just personal opinions or things that you want to put out there about what you're doing right now in El Paso and how you view it?
Want me to start
So whoever.
off? Honestly, I would just have to say, just drive slow, honestly.
Okay.
Just
I
careful, you know what I mean?
was not expecting this to be a fit fam type of thing, but yeah, I
Oh
agree. Gotta
yeah,
drive
because
slow.
yeah, honestly, just take things at a slow pace. Not even just in driving,
And
but
stop
like,
drinking.
Yeah, okay. See, I thought you were
whatever
doing like
you
a road safety kind of thing. Okay. But no, yeah, I get what you're trying to
like. All I
say.
would have to say is just like, honestly, like take your time with things as well. Because if you guys just rush to things, it's not gonna come out exactly good. Like take your
Yeah.
time, you know what I mean? Me, I can honestly just say I have the blessing of just being at that point in life where like I can just honestly like just sit there and just enjoy myself
Mm-hmm.
and not have to like always be out in the scene. I can just I don't want to say depend on people to reach out, but like have that in the back of my mind that I no longer need to like keep well, yeah, I can put in the work, but just keep like doing what I have to do without having to stress about losing my mind and losing opportunities. Because I'm
For
taking
sure.
my time on things now and like taking my time behind the steering wheel, getting to where I need to be. And where I need to be is far ahead, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm on my way to get there. And I'm gonna take my time to get there.
There you go.
And if
And I
there's
think that's a good
obstacles in the
message for
way,
sure.
yeah, like you just have to take your time, drive slow. Because at the same time, having a car is a blessing because it gets you from point A to point B, and you just need to take your time to get there.
Nice, man.
Maybe
Beautiful,
I should have
beautifully
worded it
said.
right.
No, no, it's very deep. It's artistic. It's a metaphor. I fuck with it. I
So
fuck with it.
poetic.
Yeah.
Very
That was
poetic,
so poetic.
exactly.
Um,
What about
for
you?
me, I would literally say El Paso stand up.
Yeah. See, there you
Stand
go. There you
up.
go.
El Paso literally like I was trying to sugarcoat it, but I'm gonna be real. El Paso stand up. If you really want to be El Paso in the next 5 years, stand up.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say on what topic because I'm not here to be political or anything, but just as a whole, if you see something is not going, if you see something is wrong, stand up. Simple being, whether it's for you, for your family, for your friends, for the next generation. Stand up.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Beautifully said. I mean, there's drama in every community. There's drama in every business. I feel like more attention needs to be brought to issues like that. And again, like it seems like you're on top of it with the way that you run your whole thing. So nicely put again. So last question before we sign out here. What are some things you guys are hyping up for the future that you can kind of talk about real quick? What do you have planned?
Oh, well, we got the reckoning, right?
For sure.
So, we got. I'll give you two little things. So after the reckoning, we're gonna drop our first collection called Burnt Out,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll actually be there to
For
experience a
sure.
little
I'll be
bit
there.
of
I'll be there.
it. So, yeah, because he's gonna be taking photos.
Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
15th. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be happening after the show, and then after the reckoning, it leads us into the city of exile.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Nice.
what we're warming up for, the city of exile.
Is that another collection or a fashion show? A bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. It's a lot because the reckoning was just to tell you, hey, we do fashion, we hosting shows. No, it was just to give you a little one too. But the city of exile is going to take you a little bit more in depth into the house,
Very
right?
nice.
It's gonna because our fashion shows are not just gonna be regular fashion shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very symbolic. I like to think, and I love critical thinkers. I love intellectuals. I would love for my people to actually wake up, if you get what I'm saying.
For sure.
Right. So with that being said, I love to throw symbolism in my fashion shows. I love to tell stories behind my shows. I love to push the bar, if per se. Like people, for me, I bring up God a lot because I love my God. I do. That's why I always make sure to give him his glory and praise, put him on his pedestal where he belongs, because without him, I wouldn't be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the type of person I would take the fashion runway show, the runway show. I mean, I would take the runway show and use it as an opportunity to retell the story of Adam and Eve, or the battle of heaven and hell. I would even go farther into looking into other cultures and start telling, like, the Iliad. I would love to have a fashion show center around telling the story of the Iliad
And
or
real quick,
Odysseus.
how do you go about choosing what story you want to tell? Is it just a personal interest or?
So it's based on my models, right? So it's called the house. I look at us as a family. We move as a unit. So it's always the comfortability and the aesthetic of my models, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never want to. I'm not that type of designer. Oh, you're gonna wear this because I'm designing. You're just a model and you signed the contract. No, you're human. We're all human. We all have a say so in this human world.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually, we all have to say so to what we put on ourselves physically, right? So I would never want to put something on somebody if they feel uncomfortable with wearing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I go through and I have a visual for a show, I'll come to my models and be like, hey, how would you guys like to tell a fashion show based on this story? And if they are uneducated with it, I will break down and tell them what the story is. I will literally go do my research if I'm unfamiliar with something and bring it back, right? I like to do my research because even in the Bible it says do your research to show yourself approved,
Yeah.
right?
Of course. Of course.
So always do my research. I'm always studying, always learning something. And sometimes I like to take the stuff that I learned about and put it on the show, put it on a fashion show, put it into a fashion show so somebody else can learn from it, because everybody learns different.
Mm-hmm. Very nicely put. What about you, Fernie?
So yeah, next month. Well, other than the Reckoning show, my buddies at Stream 915, they're gonna host an event at the Solana Mall called the Screen and Share, and they're gonna have it at the Seat Fan Party Hall, and it's one of those stores that's in the mall itself, and they're gonna be showing a bunch of films there. They're gonna be showing choices there, and that's pretty much it. I'm working on some few scripts. And that's pretty much it. Just trying to
Nice.
stay busy, keeping it along with Triple Three right here with the
For sure. For
show. We've
sure.
been putting it out there as well. June 26th at the Cosmos. Is it a lounge? Cosmos Lounge?
Cosmos Social Lounge on
Social Lounge.
Overland Drive.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you guys are both keeping up and moving forward with what you guys are passionate about, and I really appreciate your time with like explaining to us everything that goes into your creative side and everything. So again, just want to thank you guys for your time today. My name is Desierto. Thank you guys for joining us for an episode of Desiertalks, and we'll see you whenever we do the next one. There we go. Adios.